Now it is time for another farming run. But this time with super compost. So maybe some of my crops will live. Let's be honest, the tomatoes probably only lived because they have the marigolds protecting them. But the herbs survived, so the super compost did at least something for me. Plus it's an extra bonus herb, at least. So we'll harvest all this and see where we're at. That harvest got us up to 30 farming. But now, it's time for the real test of super compost. I've got sweet corn and limpwort roots. All unprotected, besides the super compost. But now, it's time to actually go to Wintertide. Alright, here we are. Got my 2 warm items. Axe of steel, which is all you really need here. Just because, really. Higher level axes, doesn't matter at all. Hammer, knife, food, even though I probably don't need any food. Between having very low HP and the 4 times HP regen, it's going to go very well for me. Ideally, I would have done this later, because my main focus is still all the quests and favor system. But the way it works is the higher your HP level, the worse this place is to be. When you're low level, even on the main game, you just bring some cakes or some wines, no problems. Or you get higher levels, then it starts hitting you, instead of 1s and 2s, it starts hitting you 5s, 7s, 10s. Just an absolute disaster. So, before we get into any combat, we're gonna get some fire making done. Also, while we're here, we'll get woodcutting levels, fletching levels, and construction levels. So it's going to be quite a few points, all things considered. Eagle-eyed among you might have noticed I forgot a tinderbox. Because I'm very good at fire making, apparently. Alright, first game done. 26,000 XP drop. Straight to level 54. Also a league task. For 1 game. For 10 points. And our first crate. As much fun as opening up all the crates at the end would be, I want to get the Pyromancer as it comes. So, we'll be opening these and tell you if I find anything interesting. And the first level task of this whole fire making escapade, 60 fire making. For a nice 50 points. So it's kind of a unique item. Got some burnt pages. Won't be too useful unless we get the Tome of Fire, but if we do get one, don't have to worry about it. So that's good. And another task complete for 40 fletching. Very happy that level 40 gives 50 points. Very nice, very easy. And there is 20 construction. Putting the XP lamp in there and buying a house, paying off very nicely. For another 10 points. And there's 500 total level. Which is worth 10 points. Okay. Well, again, it's not a great unique, but I got a Bruma Torch. Pretty sure that also counts as a warm item. It's just more thematic than the Fire Staff, I guess. And there's 80 fire making, which is going to be quite a few points. 100. It's my first level 80 skill, and if I'm remembering correctly, my first 100-point task. So that's very good. And there's the final task that we'll be getting here for a little bit. 25 kills. 10 points. Let's go check out what we all got from here. We finished up Wintertime at 81 fire making, 52 woodcutting, 52 fletching, and 28 construction. We got a whole bunch of stuff. So much stuff that I just was dumping in there after every game. So the bank was a massive mess. So I did some organizing. We got 52,000 coins, some runes, teleports, foods, cosmetic stuff. And we have my combat tab. Got my melee gear, range gear, magic gear, stuff I can't use yet. We got the farming tab. Some notable drops from Wintertime. We got Amanto seeds, a mahogany seed I can't actually use. Then we got some herbs, and general tools, skilling supplies, which was the bulk of what we got from Wintertime. Some decent stuff. Then we have my to-be clue scroll tab, currently with 0 clue scrolls or items. And then junk. I don't believe that there's anywhere to plant hop seeds. You can't use pure essence for anything. And then I've also have these tomatoes, which I'm probably not going to need, but as far as I can tell, the only way to get them is farming. So if I ever run into needing a whole bunch of tomatoes, I would rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Also the wooden shield. Anti-dragon's better for everything. So, next thing that we're doing is trying to get it right the 3rd time with Hosidius Favor. %, allotment is automatically protected. That would have been great for all those plants that died. They didn't need to die. So, we've got all the compost we need. Some saltpeter. I'm going to put these together. Go get the last bit of compost, last bit of saltpeter and compost we need. Turn it in and get that 50%. There's the last of our compost turned in, bringing us to 50% Hosidius. And we can head back to the allotment patch and just see in the distance with full confidence that everything will grow from now on. Now this is a beautiful sight. Even though I didn't have these all protected, they still lived, which is fantastic. So now we'll harvest this, plant some more, and see if we can get to the level that we're going for. We just barely managed to squeeze by to get 34 farming, which unlocks the first level of the Tithe Farm once we have 100% Hosidius Favor. But that will be how we mostly train our farming, and will get us over to the farming guild. So we're pretty much done with this patch, except for the herbs. Herbs will be good. Onwards. We're gonna pick some flax now. About 2 inventories worth. It is not going well for this guy. Ah, he's dead. A valiant attempt. He was trying to go in and out of the door, trying to lure the wizards to only attack him one at a time. It did not work at all. They are very dangerous. Anyways, we brought our flax over to the only spinning wheel on the continent. And we got a random event. This should be nice and easy. I'm always happy to get some free money. Or a gold ring. You could call that best in slot, but it's not actually best in slot. Because it doesn't actually give any stats. And it's also not fashion, because you can't actually see rings. But anyways, we got 20 crafting. So that is another task. And this is the bank you need to bank at to use the only spinning wheel on the continent. It is a bit of a trek. Next up, something else. There's a full inventory of raw chicken. Which, while useful for the next thing we're doing, was not why we actually came here. Nor was the feathers. What we're really after was 15 strength, which will allow us to do fishing once we get over there. We also got 2 defense and 14 HP, which it's not 10, but it should still be okay for Wintertide. Also, burying the bones got us to 8 prayer, and a total of 11 combat. So let's go cook all this chicken. The power of 5 times XP rates allowed a single inventory of raw chicken to get us 4 cooking levels. So now we're up to level 28. I'm probably never going to use these, but maybe I will. Who knows? Anyways, now that we have high enough cooking, we're going to skip right on over here to the mess hall and make some stews. And with a bit of juggling, we managed to make 20 stews. Then I had to hop around some worlds, because apparently there is a requirement that this be at least 30%, so that when you serve your 20 stews, it gives you the achievement. Also, 39 cooking. That was 11 levels for just turning that in. My goodness. And turning in those stews is worth 50 points. Not bad at all. Made a few more stews just to get this done. 40 cooking. And that is another 50 points. Time to do a bit of exploring. There are bears in this town. The town of Land's End. But seriously, terrible place for a picnic. Very dangerous. One thing to note, making those stews got me another 12% Hosidius favor. It's up to 62% now. Now here in Land's End, there's some interesting stuff. Here's a bunch of crates. You can search for various hunter supplies. And then, if you try to open it at the same time, it says you already have one. But of course, we want more than one. That would just be silly. Okay, see, I wanted 10, but I have 9. So I'm going to drop them all. Shift click. Very nice. Pick them all up again. Let's see what else they got. They got a little bit of nothing. A lit candle. Nothing. Some weird stand kind of thing. Lit candles and hymns written on paper. So I can steal this candle, but not those candles. Fine. Over here we got a bank chest and a bank deposit box. And using this bank over here is another task. Only 10 points, but really you can't expect more than that, since all you're doing is searching a bank chest. Just using a bank. Here we got some bird snares. Don't anticipate I'm going to need as many bird snares. Let's see if they got anything else. Crate of nothing. Boxes of nothing. Nothing in here. A butterfly net. Again, probably not something I need multiple of, but I'd rather have them and not have to come back here again. Let's see what this butcher has. Conversation is what he has. There's something in there about a basement, but he doesn't have a basement. Very strange. And a guitar. Interesting. And a dwarf. I don't think there's anything in these boxes over here, so. An interesting little town. Full of hunter equipment, mostly. Onward to the next location. Fun fact. There's a bunch of level 72 zombies over there. And wizards. And just a terrible time. Just a terrible time when you're level 11. But I ran far enough away before they just absolutely destroyed me. So I should be able to pick up my stuff. This is actually my second death, because I also died earlier when I was not paying much attention and thieving from master farmers. This was not a valiant attempt whatsoever. On the plus side, my corpse run led me back here to the weapon master, and I managed to purchase an adamant sword. Unfortunately, if you're looking for an adamant longsword, looks like you're gonna have a hard time, because if shops are overstocked, you can't buy anything. So, at least something good came from this death. I mean, come on, just look at this madness. You got level 20 dark wizards, level 76 zombie. What's a guy to do? Can't do anything against that. And here's where we were trying to get before we were so rudely interrupted. Into Mulch, who knows? This island. Another task. 10 points. Just a huge mess over here, honestly. Now, hopefully we can get through this area without dying. Gosh, probably not. Maybe I should go around. I believe I've said before, fortune favors the bold, but then I died. Yeah, we made it. But we're poisoned, so we'll see if we can get to a bank before we die of poison. This lack of agility for these obstacles is something we're going to absolutely need to fix. That's going to be a prime problem to solve before we start doing Slayer. Also, it looks like we're actually going to get to the bank before we die, which is great. Speaking of Slayer, it's time to get our first assignment. Give you a little Slayer tutorial for people that don't know what Slayer is. and I get to choose my task, which is great. I'm going to choose sand crabs. And I get a free Slayer gem. That's nice. All sorts of stuff in the rewards. And all sorts of stuff in the shop. Nothing that we can use yet, though. Grabbed a few things for later. The boots require 44 Slayer. Earmuffs 15. Face mask 10 Slayer. But the spiny helmet only requires 5 defense, and is apparently just as good as a steel full helm. So we'll test that out. Because I checked, and it looks like I should have enough spare hit points experience to get to level 5 defense. I just have to find something low enough level that I can actually fight it. If you're looking for things that are weak, it doesn't get much weaker than level 1 rats. That guy's got the Cape of Skulls, which gives you a skull. People were freaking out the first time they saw those. Very confused. But then they figured it out. Hit. Hit the rat. Just need to land one more blow. I picked wheat instead. 5 defense. Now this should help us quite a bit. So we had the steel med helm, but apparently the spiny helm's even better. Well, let's take everything else off for full comparison. 7, 8, 6, 5, 1, 7. It's definitely better for defensive purposes, but it also gives a larger penalty to magic and range attack. Not that we would be using this for that anyways. But we've upgraded to steel, which is pretty nice. Because the next thing we're doing is going to be a bit more dangerous. Also, I should have brought food while I was up on Mount Quidamortum. So now we're going back there again, and then we're coming back here again. Because I have poor planning skills. I decided that trying to navigate my way through the swamp all the way around and up to Mount Quidamortum from the north would be an extra terrible idea, because I'd have to run through all this extra swamp full of dangerous enemies. So I took the home teleport back to the middle of Kourend. Then I came over here to Piscarilius to buy up feathers, which I would actually have needed when I got there, but I had forgotten. So now it's time to actually get to Mount Quidamortum. Here goes nothing. We only have to do this one time, and then there will be a guy that can bring us between these locations. To maximize my chances, I've put my very meager abilities to use. I've put myself in defensive stance, which will give me +3 defense level. I've also turned on thick skin, which will give me 5% more defense. I'm going to eat whenever anything does damage to me, because you never know how high these monsters can hit. And that might actually be... oh, nope, those are just goblins. I was like, what is this crazy new monster I'm seeing? But no, it's actually... I'm pretty sure it's fine from here. Bear. I believe there... another bear. Okay, here is one location where you have to be careful. You have 2 options. You can either run through this valley of trolls like this guy's doing, Or you can go around. I choose to go around. Oh geez, there's still a troll. It's also multi-combat there, which is even more dangerous. I don't want a repeat of the zombies and wizards from just a little bit ago. And here you can see everyone in the world train and fishing. And we will be joining them soon. So in the end, I used one healing, one fruit to heal my poison, ate a cake, and here's the guy that when we talk to him, he can bring us up and down the mountain. So instead of running past all those enemies that can poison and hit you and then multi-combat, you can just teleport straight up here. Which is just great. And over here we have a bank chest, which is convenient. And along with being convenient is also another task. One of the hardest 10 points we've had to work for. And we also got another 10 points for getting our first Slayer task. But now, it's time for some fishing. This fishing also gives agility and strength experience, and is the only way to get agility experience besides lamps of some description, all the way to level 60. And at level 60, you unlock an agility training method at Wintertide. So before we head back to do more fire making, I'd like to get at least 60 agility. So that's where we're going to end for now. Because this is far more AFK than anything else we've done so far. So I'll be able to make good use of that.